So, imagine this. Just a few years ago, BYD was one of dozens of EV brands in China. Today, it's not just bigger than Tesla in deliveries, it's chasing Toyota. And depending on how this plays out, it could redefine the future of global car manufacturing. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today's video is a deep dive into what might be the most important company in the EV race, not Tesla, not Volkswagen, but BYD. And if you've been sleeping on this name, it's time to wake up. Let's get into why BYD is gaining momentum fast, how it's dominating both the low end and moving into premium, how it's dodging tariffs with strategy, not slogans, and where it goes next. Let's start with the numbers. In Q4 2023, BYD delivered more BEVs than Tesla globally. That's historic. In 2024, it also beat Tesla in revenue. And this year, it's on track to deliver 5.5 million units, up from 4.2 million last year. That's 30% growth in a down cycle. But here's the bigger number, 10 million units. That's BYD's 2030 target. And that's what Toyota sells today. This is no longer a startup versus incumbent story. This is a leadership transition in motion. And it's happening fast. So how is BYD doing this? 3 words: scale, speed, and integration. BYD designs and builds nearly everything in-house: batteries, motors, semiconductors, vehicle software, and increasingly, even its own smart driving chips. It doesn't rely on NVIDIA. It doesn't outsource its battery tech. And that's not just about cost, it's about speed and control. That vertical integration means BYD can launch products faster, iterate smarter, and bring down prices while keeping margins. It's a playbook that Toyota used to dominate gas cars, and now BYD's doing it in EVs. Let's talk global strategy, because BYD's not just a China story anymore. This year, it plans to double exports to 800,000 vehicles. By 2026, 1.5 million. How? By building. Not just cars, factories. Thailand, Indonesia, Brazil, Hungary, Turkey, BYD has assembly plants either under construction or launching soon in each of these markets. Combined, these will add 500,000 plus units of overseas capacity. And here's the key: localized production means lower tariffs, better logistics, and political goodwill. Especially in Europe, where tariffs on Chinese BEVs are now as high as 27%, BYD's approach is pragmatic. Focus on PHEVs, which only face 10% tariffs, and localized production in Hungary to scale faster. That strategy is already working. In 2023, BYD had less than 1% EV share in Europe. In 2025, it's up to 5%. And over the next 2-3 years, that could double to 10 to 12%. But BYD isn't just pushing into Europe. Emerging markets are just as critical, maybe more. In ASEAN and Latin America, where Japanese and Korean OEMs dominate, BYD's market share has tripled from 1 to 2% in 2023 to 3 to 4% this year. If NEV adoption accelerates, and if BYD hits 40% share in those markets, that could mean 1.5 million vehicles in emerging markets by 2030. And this is where BYD's product mix really shines. PHEVs make up over 50% of its exports, and in places with weak charging infrastructure, they're perfect. We're seeing this already in Brazil, Indonesia, and Mexico. BYD isn't just selling cars, it's solving infrastructure gaps. That's smart positioning. Alright, let's shift to BYD's premium game. A lot of people assume BYD equals cheap EVs. And yes, its Dynasty and Ocean series hit the sub $15,000 market hard. But BYD is going upscale, and fast. Its high-end brands, Denza, Fangchengbao, and YangWang, are targeting luxury buyers with powerful new designs, next-gen ADAS, and in-house software that rivals the best. Models like Denza N9 and YangWang U7 come with Level 2 Plus autonomy, BYD's 1000 kW supercharging tech. That's 400 kilometers of range in 5 minutes, and luxury-level interiors. And they're selling. Denza's market share in China's premium segment bounced from 3.7% back to 6% in just months, after the D9 facelift. And this is just the start. BYD's planning 16 plus premium models in 2025, double from this year. Why does this matter? Because premium cars carry higher gross margins, 5 to 10 points above mass-market vehicles, and that matters when you're trying to scale global operations, reinvest in R&D, and navigate price wars. And that brings us to one of BYD's biggest edges: its ability to democratize advanced tech. Other automakers focus on what they can build. BYD focuses on how quickly they can deliver it, and how broadly they can scale it. Its God's Eye smart driving system, basically L2 autopilot, is now standard on over 50% of its cars. And not just high-end cars, sub $15,000 models, even sub $10,000 in some cases. That scale matters. Because with every car shipped, BYD gains user data, which feeds its algorithm, which improves the next version. It's a flywheel. And no, it's not full self-driving. But in terms of reach and rollout speed, BYD is ahead of Tesla, ahead of startups, ahead of legacy OEMs, especially in the mass market. It's also locking in supply chain security. There are only so many smart driving chip suppliers, and BYD, as a volume leader, likely gets top priority from Horizon, Nvidia, and its own internal teams. Let's talk valuation, because here's where BYD still flies under the radar. Right now, BYD trades at 17x forward PE, in line with its 2-year average. But if you adjust for R&D capitalization, something most Chinese peers do and BYD doesn't, that multiple drops to 12x. That's extremely reasonable for a company growing volume 30% a year, expanding globally, and hitting margins above 20% in some quarters. Of course, not everything is perfect. There are risks, and BYD knows it. Fierce price competition in China is compressing ASPs. BYD's 6-point market share gain came with a 10% plus ASP decline. Tariffs in the US and Europe could slow down expansion or delay new launches. Margin pressure will rise as overseas plants come online, and any volume hiccup could dent profits. But here's the counterpoint, BYD is already adapting. It raised $5 billion in fresh capital, has strong southbound inflows returning to its H shares, and is building multiple growth engines, premium, overseas, and new verticals like humanoids and robotaxis. Yup, humanoids. BYD is already using robots in its own factories to boost production efficiency. It's working with Ubtech's Walker S1, a full-fledged humanoid robot, and replacing some assembly line workers. That's not science fiction, it's 2025 reality in Shenzhen. And in the next 2 to 3 years, BYD could move into robotaxis, full autonomy, even its own in-house chips. This isn't a car company anymore. It's an ecosystem. So let's wrap it up. BYD is doing everything Tesla did in 2018, only faster, with more models, more vertical integration, and more geopolitical awareness. It's dominating mass-market EVs. Scaling ADAS tech across millions of vehicles. Going premium with 16 new models next year. Dodging tariffs by building plants on every continent. And quietly preparing to rival Toyota in total global car sales by 2030. If that doesn't make it one of the most important companies in the world right now, I don't know what does. So, what do you think? Is BYD on an unstoppable path to EV dominance? Or will tariffs, price wars, and rising competition slow it down? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives like this, hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because BYD's next move could reshape the auto industry for good.